Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I have a really exciting video for you guys today. I have mentioned this topic in my previous videos and I will definitely link that down below because I know you guys really like that. But today I'm going to be talking about personal development for kids, obviously. And in my previous video I mentioned what ways they can be learning about personal development, but I haven't really catered this message towards parents and really why is it so important for kids to be learning about personal development in the first place. Lessons from positive psychology and personal development can have such a large impact on our kids' future and even our future. Today in the US, we generate around $15 billion in revenue on personal development alone. Now, that can include movies like The Secret, self-help books, videos, live seminars, live webinars, and even intensive retreats for the weekend. Now, if that didn't make you believe how much we use personal development and how much we need personal development, let me share with you this. In the US today, clinical depression in teens is at its highest level. It is at an epidemic level. The United States has the highest level of high school dropouts out of any other developed nation. Increases in bullying and severity are on the rise. Pharmaceutical companies are targeting preschools for antidepressants and mood-stabilizing drugs. The World Health Organization estimated that this year, in 2020, depression and suicide will be the world's #1 killer. This isn't shocking, as most limiting beliefs and doubts are developed prior to the age of 6 years old. Only 6 years old, you're developing all these thoughts and these negative emotions built up about yourself. The problem is that our school system also has no character education. Kids are not learning about how to deal with their emotions. They're not learning on how to develop emotional connections with themselves and their peers. We are not teaching our kids what actually matters. We're teaching them that what matters is their IQ and their standardized test scores. But in reality, those things don't matter at all. What matters is their character. What matters is their grit. What matters is their drive and their self-esteem. These are the things that employers are now looking for. These are the things that they can use to propel themselves forward. These are the things that they can use to envision and visualize the life that they want. The fact of the matter is, it is this lack of self-esteem that is the #1 reason that children are afraid to step out of their comfort zone, and they're afraid to face their fears and their doubts. So that's why that kids are stuck in this comfortable position where they don't want to try anything new and where they don't want to, they're afraid to do something wrong. And the truth is that many children succumb to these issues in their homes and in school because they think that it is their expectations of their peers and their family members and their teachers that is going to help them become successful, when in reality, it is their expectations of themselves that are going to drive themselves forward, that are going to help them grow and become successful in the future. It's not about what other people think, it's about what you think of yourself. That's what's going to move you forward. That's what's going to cause you to keep visualizing and looking at what you truly want. That's what's going to drive you to make these crazy decisions that are going to help you. That's what's going to drive you to do something new, to look at something in a different way. The reason that these kids feel so attached to the idea that it's what other people think that really matters and what's going to help them become successful is because they're not being praised for their efforts. They're being praised for their successes. Now, we need to praise kids for their efforts because the reality is that they're going to try a lot of things. And they're probably going to fail more times than they succeed. So if they look at that succeeding is what has a positive effect, and if they see that you're praising their successes, they're generally going to try less because they know that success doesn't come that often. So if we praise kids for their efforts, they're going to be more willing to try. Because as long as they're giving their best effort, and as long as they're trying something new, and as long as they're looking at something in a different way, and as long as they're getting out of their comfort zone, that's what's going to matter. In the workplace, in any aspect of life, people applaud you for trying. No one expects you to be perfect, so why should we expect kids to be perfect? It's just not a reality. And they need to know that. They need to have that realization within themselves that people and adults are looking for now. You know, adults spend so much money on personal development because they are truly trying to undo that negative thinking that they were brought up with. And we're bringing our kids up with that same negative thinking. They get to adulthood and they're like I'm shitty at this, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm a failure, I'm this, I'm that. And it's all because of the way they were brought up as a kid. They had these negative thoughts about themselves because they were looking at what other people thought about them. They were looking at what their peers thought. They were looking at what their parents thought. And they had no idea how to think about themselves. So now we look to personal development to try to feel alive again. We try to build that self-esteem that was torn down when we were younger. In reality, a lot of this stuff is going to waste because people are so stuck in these limiting beliefs and these negative thoughts that they can't undo them. They can't change themselves because it's so hard. Like I talked about in my previous videos, habits are very hard to break. And the way you think of yourself, frankly, it's a habit. So we need to be teaching our children how important self-esteem is, how important it is to have your own expectations of yourself and not to believe so strongly in the ones that people have set for you. So we really need to provide that information, that self-help knowledge that adults are only seeking now. We need to give them that information so they can soak it all up, so they can learn from it and not try to do what adults are trying to do, rewire their brains. Because children they're like sponges. They literally soak everything up when they're younger. So this is when we need to be providing that information to them so they don't have to rewire themselves. They're already learning this knowledge and they're building it into wisdom. That's what we want. That's what we ultimately want. We don't want to be spending all this money when we're adults and trying to rework our brains. If we can just be giving them this information when they're younger so they don't have to redo it when they're older. Does that make sense? And the real reason that people are seeking this self-help knowledge is because they're unclear as to what they want to do with their lives. They've been listening to everybody's expectations, their parents, their peers, and everybody else. And now they get to adulthood and they're like, this isn't what I want. I should have done this. And now they're thinking all these negative thoughts and they're having limiting beliefs about what they truly can do and what they truly want to do. And they have to redo it. And that's why there's so many people who are quitting their jobs and starting their own businesses and on their own paths. Because they are finally listening to themselves. So this is what we need to be teaching our children so they don't have to do that. They can just follow their own path. If they don't want to go to college, they don't need to go to college. It's the harsh reality. So the message that I really want to be bringing to parents is the fact that we need to be teaching our children about self-help knowledge. We need to be teaching them that it is important to care for themselves, that it is important to think for themselves, and it's so, so important not to believe in others, but to believe in ourselves, in themselves. We need self-esteem. We need encouragement on our efforts, and we need to be at peace with ourselves. They need to be at peace with themselves. That is the only way they're going to grow. And it is the only way that they will become empowered. And we need empowered kids ruling this next generation. So I hope you get this message, and I hope you start teaching your children about it because it's so important, and it will literally change our future. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you truly take these words into consideration. I hope you start implementing some of these ideas and, try to learn a little bit more about self-help if you don't already, and start teaching your kids about it because it's so important. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, as always. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to check out my blog. I will also be linking that down below. And for those of you who have been patiently waiting, I'd love to announce, and I'm super excited to announce, that I'm now offering a one-to-one coaching with parents and children. Parents who are looking to be a little bit less stressed about having to deal with your overstimulated children, and we're really going to be working at the level of building a positive relationship so that we can connect with one another. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, I'm going to leave a link down below for you to fill out a survey and see if we both are a good fit to work together.